friends, welcome to my channel edukanak Cbse. Myself Kanak, Kanak Sena. And in today's video what we are going to do is that we are going to collect all the important dates and datas that are related to your chapter, the French Revolution, first chapter of history, class 9th. And you know why I'm doing it? Because I have heard it from so many people so many times that it becomes very difficult for them to access the dates, to collect them, and to then it becomes even more difficult to just learn them and to keep them in their mind for a long time, you know. So I thought, okay, why not to make it a bit easier in just at least accessing them, है ना? And then I'll also try my best to make you learn all the dates, because personally I believe that when we discuss on something else, when we talk about that for even a while, it stays in our mind for a long time. And the same we will do here, that here I'll put the dates, here I'll put the events related to that date, and in the background I will discuss everything that is related to that particular date. And what you have to do is, you have to take a pen and pencil with you, write the date, the event, and listen the whatever I say about that date now, so that you can keep it in your mind for a very, very long time. So let's start without any further delay.
So first of all, if you want a video on the whole chapter of the French Revolution, तो मैंने पहले ही एक वीडियो बना रखी है. I'll put the link of that video in the description box, so you can go there and watch that video first, ताकि आपका chapter भी clear हो जाए, and then dates तो clear करने ही हैं. So now let's start with the dates. Now according to the story, the first date that comes is 1774, on which Louis XVI ascended the throne of France. That means on this date Louis XVI becomes the king of the France. Okay. Then on 5th May 1789, the king called an assembly of the state general to pass proposal of new taxes. So as we have learned in the chapter that to propose any new taxes, the king has to call the state general. So the same thing he has does on that day. Then on 20th June 1789, third state representatives assembled and took the tennis court oath. They formed a national assembly. So on 20th June, what happened? The third state was not happy with the old system of voting. So so they proposed the new system, but the king rejected their demand. And then what they did, they went out of that palace in protest, and then they assembled and took the tennis court oath, and they formed a national assembly. Then on 14th July 1789, on this date we can say that the French Revolution actually started. On this date, storming of Bastille has been done. Okay. Then on 4th August 1789, National Assembly passed a decree to abolish the feudal system of obligation and taxes. So basically we know that National Assembly that was formed out of the third state members. So on this date, National Assembly passed a decree to abolish feudal system. So we know that on third state there was a lots of burden of taxes and feudal system and all that. So they passed a decree to abolish all these feudal system and obligation of taxes. Then on 5th October 1789, women marched to Versailles and brought back King Louis XVI with them to Paris. So there is a story behind this. Actually the prices of bread and everything was rising very, very quickly. So women were frustrated from that, and then they marched to the Versailles, and they took the king and took him with them to Paris. Then on 1791, National Assembly completed draft of new constitution. So we know that National Assembly was drafting a constitution, the new constitution for France. So 1791, the National Assembly has completed their draft of new constitution. And revolutionary women Olympe de Gouges writes Declaration of the Rights of Women and Citizen. So in that constitution there is a prominent woman, namely Olympe de Gouges. So she has declared a right of women and citizen on the same date, 1791. Then on April 1792, National Assembly voted to declare war against Russia and Austria. So let me tell you what happened basically on that date. Ki the power of Louis XVI has decreased too much because of the formation of National Assembly and the new constitution and all that. So Louis XVI decided to call the troops and declare a war against his own citizens. But before he did something like that, National Assembly itself voted to declare war against Russia and Austria, because Louis XVI was going to do all of that in cooperation with the Russia and Austria. So National Assembly declared a war against Russia and Austria on the date of 1792. Then on 21st September 1792, in the same year, monarchy abolished and France declared a republic. So on this date, monarchy was abolished and France was finally declared a republic. Then on 21st Jan 1793, Louis XVI was executed, and he was, I think, he was thrown to the death also. Then in the year 1793 and 1794, it was the time of reign of terror. So at that time slavery was abolished, but by Napoleon Bonaparte, later after 10 years, again a slavery system was started. So but this date must be remembered, because on this date it was abolished for a while. Then September 1793 and July 1794. This time period is basically the period of reign of terror. So you have to remember this. Then July 1794, Robespierre arrested and executed. So Robespierre, who was the leader of Jacobin Club, and also he has started all the reign of terror and all that. So he was arrested and executed on July 1794. Then 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of France. After the reign of terror, the Robespierre deaths, Napoleon Bonaparte came into power in the year of 1804. Then 1815, Napoleon finally defeated at Waterloo. So on this date, Napoleon was also defeated at Waterloo. There was a war at Waterloo. So in that war, Napoleon was defeated. Then on 1848, slavery was finally abolished in France colonies. Slavery was also abolished. So finally on 1848 it was abolished. Okay, then 1964, women in France won the right to vote. So this was end for this chapter, and thank you so much for watching my video. Bye bye.